Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Plat Gaming. This month, we're returning to the world of Mortal Kombat to cover Mileena.
You would steal my throne? Back from a sniveling imposter!
Now in this game, Mileena is very much a rush-down character. She features a lot of teleports, a mediocre projectile, which is usually a symptom of being a rush-down character. She has her signature ball, which of course is used to get in. Along with a lot of overhead, low, mix-up moves to sort of always keep the opponent guessing.
Round one, fight!
For the story, now, of course, we're in Liu Kang's new era. So Mileena this time plays a larger role than she usually does because, usually Mileena is a Shang Tsung flesh pit experiment clone of Kitana crossed with like a Tarkatan or something like that. In this universe, Mileena is the real sister of Kitana. We are first introduced to Mileena early in the game when Liu Kang and several of his champions come to Outworld for their yearly or whatever Mortal Kombat tournament, which of course is not nearly as dangerous as it usually is. We are introduced to Mileena, who we find out is not only Kitana's real sister in this universe, but is also the heir to the Outworld throne. The tournament progresses as normal. Raiden's out here bodying everybody in sight because he's freaking Raiden. And when it comes time for Mileena to take the field, which apparently is customary, it seems that the heir to the throne is usually like the last or second to last person to fight for Outworld. Sindel forbids it because of a mysterious illness that would stop Mileena from doing so. I wonder what that is. Fast forwarding to after the tournament, some of our heroes find out that Shang Tsung is still around in this universe, which shouldn't be possible because Liu Kang set this guy on a path to be a nobody. So how on earth is he a somebody? After breaking into Shang Tsung's laboratory, they find out that Shang Tsung is doing some kind of twisted experiment on the Crown Princess, and they need to step in to save this woman. After something of a scuffle between Shang Tsung and Mileena's honor guard, Tanya, the Umgadi, the main cast is attacked by Mileena, who has turned into a Tarkat. Oh my god, she had Tarkat the whole time, which is now a disease rather than a race, which is... I don't know, the whole point of the new universe is to, make sure everybody gets a happy ending. We kind of just took a race and, erased. We got rid of them. We erased them. We made it into a disease now. So, I don't know if that's... Is that the good ending? That's, that's got racial undertones, Lou. I gotta look into that. That's weird. But anyways, Mileena turns out has some kind of Tarkatan that is not fully progressed yet because she can still look like a normal human, but then when her, blood gets crazy or something, she turns into a Tarkat. Mouth splits open like a predator. It's crazy. She attacks Kenshi and, grabbing some size on a nearby table, stabs Kenshi in the eyeballs, which of course does not kill him, despite, the eyeballs are pretty close to the brain. Historically, the eyeballs are pretty close to the brain. The size just take his eyesight. The next time we see Mileena is in Act 3, where Li Mei escorts Liu Kang to Sindel so that he can explain that he's actually not a bad guy. I know we apparently attacked your daughter or something like that, but Liu Kang's not a bad guy. He just hates this dude named Shang Tsung who should be a nobody. During this explanation, of course, they don't really let him talk calmly. They kind of ambush him. Turns into a whole big scuffle. During said scuffle, Mileena insists that she's going to help defend the throne. Of course, Mileena fighting means that she goes Tarkatan. And of course, Li Mei has to subdue Mileena without killing the Crown Princess. Afterwards, everybody calms down and Liu Kang goes, "Hey guys, look, The Shang Tsung guys, he's bad news. Shao Kahn, I mean, even though everything he said to you is acidic, it turns out he's plotting against you. I really don't know how you could have... I don't know how you would have known that, you know? It's almost like everything a direct subordinate to you has said to you has been disrespectful in some way, but I guess it's just the way he is, so you let him do it? I don't know. But anyways, everybody's on the same page now, so everybody groups up and they go back to bring the fight to Shao Kahn and I guess General Shao and Shang Tsung. Eventually, during this whole big confrontation, Shang Tsung reveals that I'm a big deal now because I've been doing all this for a lady named Chronica, or Damashi. And then Damashi reveals herself to be it's Shang Tsung again. It's actually Shang Tsung. It's a second time it's Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung introduces his own version of all the characters because, as it turns out, at the end of Mortal Kombat 11 DLC Aftermath, MK1 is taking place in the universe where Liu Kang won, but if you remember, you played that DLC, you could also play as Shang Tsung. So Shang Tsung, Damashi, in this game, is the Shang Tsung that you could have played as, the alternate universe. He says that he thought he beat Liu Kang thought he beat him, but as it turns out, now we're on a collision course. So he introduces his cast, his version of the cast, everybody fights, and somewhere along the way, Sindel dies. Meaning Mileena, as the heir to the throne, is now the Empress of Outworld. And that's pretty much where we leave Mileena for the main game. She appears briefly in the DLC, mostly just to say, hey, Sub-Zero kind of had a hand in killing my mom. I'd like this guy to be in prison. And Liu Kang goes, whoa, come on. Like, we need playable characters for the next game. You can't do that to him. Jesus. But then Havoc shows up, kind of throws that whole thing into chaos, pun intended, and Mileena kind of doesn't show up for the rest of the DLC. So where Mileena lays in the story is, well, right now she's the Empress of Outworld, and, General Shao is in open rebellion. That's probably where we're going to start it for Mortal Kombat 2, if such a thing comes to exist. For Mileena's tower ending, it's probably pretty safe to say that this ending is not going to be canon, because Mileena's tower ending has her being a pretty good Empress of Outworld. Nothing really bad happens. She rules fairly and justly. She even brings rights to the Tarkats, who most people have ostracized because, it's a disease that's like contagious, so people don't really want to get near them. And yeah, they treat them, I guess, poorly because of that, but it's like it's a disease that's like contagious, so like you can't really interact with them because then you get Tarkat. Although it is inconsistent. A lot of, Johnny Cage is out here shaking hands with Baraka on a daily basis, and he doesn't have Tarkat, so I don't really know. Mileena also has an invasion season, the season of the Huntress. In that season, the enemy Mileena was created by a version of Shang Tsung who infused Katana DNA with Tarkat DNA and also his own genius. This new super smart Mileena, of course, the first thing she did was turn around and kill Shang Tsung. Fair enough. She then created a bunch more super smart Mileena clones to then go and besiege the universe, the multiverse, I suppose.
Round 2. Fight!
Now for the move list, Mileena's first move is straight side. This is just a high projectile. It's pretty fast. It's, negative on block, but if you're throwing it point blank, it's, what are you doing, basically? The default of this projectile is not really anything to write home about. It's kind of slow. It's a high projectile, which means people can just duck. But the enhanced is quite interesting. Costs 2 meter, which is quite expensive, but it destroys enemy projectiles. And when it hits them, it teleports you cross stage to where you hit them. On block, it's unsafe, so you will get hit. But on hit, it causes a crumple state. So you bite them in the neck a bunch, and then they slowly fall over. While they're falling over, you are free to perform a combo if you're quick enough. Mileena's next move is teleport down. Mileena, she crouches down and she teleports, and it's called teleport down because she does a sort of dive kick down motion. The enhanced version has armor, so this would be her armored wake up. It's quite slow for an armor move, but it does go under highs, so take that as you will. You can also use this in the air, which is important because uppercuts are very easy to do, anti-airs, so you can just kind of bait those out with a teleport. That being said, teleport down is unsafe, so if you get blocked, it's gonna hurt. Also, technically, teleport down, it doesn't lead to any combos, but you can technically do some cameo nonsense to sort of pick up from where the animation ends. Mileena's next move is teleport up. This is like teleport down, except that she kicks you up. The enhanced version leads to an air combo. Not armored, so keep that in mind. It's the down version that's armored, the up version is air combo. Both are unsafe, so take that as you will. Mileena's next move is low side. Now this move is actually really good. It's a relatively fast projectile, and it hits low, which not many projectiles do. Liu Kang has a low projectile. Katana might, but for the Sindel does as well. But for the most part, if you're throwing projectiles, they're going to be probably mid enhanced, high normal. So low projectile is rare and very good because it helps out Mileena's neutral game. That being said, the low side does not go full screen unless it's enhanced. Is it worthwhile to enhance low side? Not really. It doesn't lead to any major damage. Most of the time, if I'm enhancing low side, it's because the enemy has, 0.1 HP and they're across the stage, and I don't really want to get close to them. Mileena's next move is roll. This is Mileena's iconic ball move. In this game, it's not as good as it usually is, because in this game, it's a mid, so it is not a low. If you hit an enemy unenhanced, it leads to an air combo, which is all sorts of stuff. Mileena's main bread and butter are air combos, so she can get a lot out of that. And Mileena's enhanced version of the roll just does some additional damage, and it does require, this is kind of strange, the enhanced ball, if you want to do a combo out of it, you do need a cameo, which is strange. But it has the gimmick that because the first hit's like kind of a grab-esque, it doesn't go through block or anything like that, but it plays an animation. Because it plays the animation, you can't break the combo. Is that super relevant? Is that worth a bar? Probably not. But, it's something to think about, I suppose. Now, Mileena can also perform ball in the air. Which, if unenhanced, simply does a sort of spinning projectile move. Most of the time, you're going to be using this to extend an air combo. Because you can do it, you can do a combo, do air ball. And most of the time, because air ball shoots 3 projectiles, if the enemy gets hit by all 3, you'll probably land before they do, which means you can, do a finisher, maybe do another combo if you have a cameo or something like that. Really, this is an enabler. It's a combo ender, it's a combo extender. You're not using this to anti-air, you're not using this to air-to-air, you're not using this in neutral, unless you're like stopping your jump. If Mileena enhances air ball, it turns into air homing ball. So rather than doing a projectile, she sort of spins in place, and then whenever she's done spinning, she flies into the opponent. I gotta be honest, I've never used this move in my entire life. It's kind of really bad. I don't really know what the point of it is. The notes in the tooltip section say that it can be canceled into other air special moves, so air ball, teleport, that kind of thing. Truthfully, I don't think that's super relevant. Air ball's kind of slow. It costs a meter to do, and it doesn't really lead into super crazy combos that you can't do easier elsewhere. It does have the special thing to where you can hold it. That doesn't, it makes it do a little bit more damage if it's held, and if it's fully held, it makes it safe on block. Well, not safe. It makes it, it's -7, and everybody's fastest move is 7. So you're not gonna get punished for it, but I don't know. Do we want to spend a bar to do that? You can also cancel it, but canceling doesn't give the bar back. So I don't know. Do we want to pay a bar to do like mind games? I'm sure maybe there's a use case, but I couldn't for the life of you figure it out. And finally, we have Mileena's Fatal Blow, serving Tarkot. This Fatal Blow is actually pretty good. It has a super wide, like, hitbox, so you can combo into this from pretty much any route. Does a good amount of damage. It's not low, it's not overhead, it's nothing special like that. It's just kind of a very solid hitbox, so, if you can ball into somebody, and then if you immediately press Fatal Blow, you'll probably get it. But what's more special about Mileena's Fatal Blow is that if you, instead of pressing, your shoulder buttons, if you press L2 down at the same time, you'll get Crazed Tarkot. So this takes your Fatal Blow, and rather than being some kind of cinematic move that does a bunch of damage, it is instead an install. To give you the long and short of it, it's basically Jury's level 2. So what you can do is a lot of Mileena's basic attacks and her high projectile and her low projectile can be canceled into each other. Now the same move cannot be canceled into the same move. And per combo, you can only do 2 chain cancels. Essentially, this just opens up a bunch more combo options, makes it super oppressive to do pressure, and is just kind of really fun to look at, because you can do some crazy combos. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen any Jury level 2 combos. They're kind of insane, and they're really fun to watch. That being said, when the install ends, Mileena is stunned. And it's a long stun. Like, you're gonna get punished unless, so it's kind of a, I activate this and I kill the enemy, or I activate this and I die, because you can only activate it at 30% because it's a Fatal Blow. So it's very high risk, very high reward. Would I want to use this, would I want to use this over just like playing solid neutral and kind of waiting the opponent out? I don't know. I'm not really too sure. I'm sure in the right hands it's probably really good.
Final round. Fight.
Alright, so how do I want to play Mileena? What is her game plan? Well, the name of the game with Mileena is sort of suffocating offense. You really want to get in the opponent's zone and just kind of harass them. Just stay there. Mixing in constant, overhead, low, combo extenders. For her cameos, most people use Mileena with Scorpion, because Scorpion's Fire Breath really works well with Ball. But again, like most cameos in this game, you can find a use case for just about anybody. Like, I know when the game first came out, a lot of people were using Kung Lao because of Low Hat, and you can set up pressure that way. Mileena can very easily threaten that overhead, and so with Low Hat just kind of sitting there, and you have Mileena's overheads, it was a pretty big mental stack to deal with. Overall, I don't believe Mileena falls very high on the tier list. she's very similar gameplay wise to Smoke, but a lot of her stuff is not super tricky and is usually unsafe. So, but what I will say is that her neutrals are probably more consistent than Smoke's is, but I think she probably gets less out of them. So, where Smoke is very high risk, high reward, I think Mileena's probably medium risk, medium reward. That being said, like some characters in this game, there are a handful of characters that they can kind of just do everything Mileena does, but safer, more reliably, more damage. And so, Mileena, I think, falls firmly into like that middle, low, mid tier, which is unfortunate because I like her a lot in this game. I think she's really fun. Alright, that's all I got for you this week. If you have a character you want to see or a game you want to see, leave a comment down below. I'll catch you guys next month.
Mileena wins.
I mean, looking at the next Mortal Kombat, I really hope they don't turn Mileena bad. Because they kind of teased a little bit in this game that she has like some kind of jealousy of Kitana, because apparently people think Kitana would be a better ruler than Mileena, and she's worried about the Tarkat thing. I really hope they just keep Mileena and Kitana as like a good sister relationship, because I don't know, it's just kind of refreshing. Mileena's always kind of been a throwaway villain, she's just been a Kitana, she's just been like Kitana's clone that Kitana eventually beats. Like, they very rarely do anything interesting with Mileena. This is exactly that, something interesting with Mileena. That being said, I also hope they don't turn Tanya evil again, because, again, every time Tanya betrays Mileena, she doesn't really do anything interesting. She just kind of like backstabs her and disappears. So it's like, okay, why'd we do that in the first place? That being said, though, those are two villains that historically exist in the franchise, and right now we are very short on villains. So I can understand if they want to, bulk up the villain roster. But I don't know. I like the direction they're going with Mileena and Tanya right now. I don't really want to see that get kind of turned on its head. Alright, get out of here, you freaking kids.